Now it's highlights of this afternoon's Grand Prix from Belgium in Spa, and introduced by Trevor Walker. It's another episode of Grand Prix. Hello and welcome to a wet, but I'm sure it's an unmiserable afternoon in the Spa-Francorchamps circuit in Belgium for the Belgium Grand Prix. Always a highlight, one of the oldest calendars in the book in this racing calendar. It is a wet afternoon, so it promises to be an unpredictable race at the Spa-Francorchamps circuit. 4.3 miles and 19 turns. 2 DRS zones, a climb up a hill, back down to back up again through these massive amounts of turns that these drivers will go through. This is where our World Championship stands at the moment, and Lewis Hamilton has a strong lead, so he cannot be overtaken today. It just goes to show that will the leading pack be able to catch them. As well from the constructors, Mercedes well in hunt of Red Bull and Ferrari. So the rain here has continued to pour down all weekend, but it has led to a relatively predictable qualifying standards. We're halfway through the season, and that's the point scoring system that we're working with. So 10 points available, and 6 and 4 and so on, as we watch the right drivers get ready and get ourselves set here for the Belgium Grand Prix. And this is how the drivers qualified. Sebastian Vettel wonderfully well to get into pole position. Alexander Albon gets into second place, his best performance since Australia. Max Verstappen is in third place ahead of Lewis Hamilton, who just struggled slightly, as did Valtteri Bottas. Charles Leclerc is down in sixth. Esteban Ocon and Ricciardo line up the row behind. Carlos Sainz is ahead of his teammate Lando Norris in 11th and 13th. George Russell is behind Kimi Raikkonen, and bringing up the grid is Pierre Gasly in 19th and Nicholas Latifi in the Williams Renault, here for the Belgium Grand Prix. So here we go, the start of the Belgium Grand Prix, and it's go! Good start by Sebastian Vettel. It has to be that Albon's made a good start, and Max Verstappen has also made a very good start, taking a really tight line, darting around the inside. Lewis Hamilton has got himself up into fourth alongside Albon, into third place Valtteri Bottas. Following also, Albon suddenly got down from second to fifth here, and the start is absolutely side by side. The first time we head through Eau Rouge, and Vettel and Verstappen has just about been able to hold up Lewis Hamilton, who's just got to run on him as they make our way down the Kimmel Straight towards turn 5, and it's just about side by side. Has Lewis Hamilton got enough? No, he wisely backs away, but it's so close. So Sebastian Vettel leads, Max Verstappen is second, Hamilton third, Bottas is fourth, Charles Leclerc fifth, Alex Albon in sixth. Is the top three sides with all the points at the moment. Horrendous conditions to race in, but I can assure you that the rain is just starting to ease off ever so slightly in this Grand Prix. So what will Max Verstappen be able to do? We were sadly denied the chance to see our first Dutch Grand Prix for a long time, but a huge following Max Verstappen has, being the neighbouring country, so one wonders to say what he could do. Lewis Hamilton has had to back off just a little bit after that initial charge, but it has allowed Verstappen here to try and catch up, and he's done a very good job here, and he's absolutely flying on the circuit at the moment. They've come through Stavlo, and now they're side by side, and they're going to go make their way downhill towards Blanchimont. I don't think today they'll be taking this corner flat out, mind you. Let's watch and see. No, they don't in the end. So, braking heavily into the bus stop. And we are going to complete our first lap of 11 this afternoon in the Grand Prix of Belgium. 2 minutes, 0.07. Sebastian Vettel. Not seeing anybody getting near the lap record. And Sebastian Vettel is... Ooh, was that a bit of the car which has just come off Max Verstappen? He was trying to have a go at Vettel. It's now led Lewis Hamilton to make a move. Was there a damage here to Verstappen's car? This will be the point which we'll be worrying on and hoping that isn't the case. Hamilton now, does he fancy his moment, or does Verstappen fancy getting behind Vettel again? Kimmel straight, they'll go all the way up to 8th gear. DRS zones won't be opening up today, and I think Vettel is just trying to find an area. He's all around the gearbox here with Sebastian Vettel. They almost collide as they will go break down into the Rivière right-hander, 140 kilometers an hour in 4th gear. Then they'll accelerate, and then they will start their drive as they start to move them way sort of downhill. Turns 10 and 11. Braking again down to 5th gear. Wide by Verstappen. Hamilton comes through. A mistake by Max Verstappen has allowed Lewis Hamilton to come through and move into 2nd place in this race. So Max Verstappen has made a brilliant start, but at the moment it is all going wrong. It's going wrong for him again. He's collided with Bottas and gone. There's damage to the nose cone. Damaged here. Cars are slowing all over the place as well. Lance Stroll just waiting, and somebody's got to have hit Ricciardo from behind. It looks like one of the McLarens. I got a feeling there that was Carlos Sainz, and one of them, it looks like Magnussen in the Haas, is also taking a knock and gone. Goodness gracious, would you believe that? Carnage here in the 2nd lap of the Belgium Grand Prix. Max Verstappen crawling back to the pits. That's going to have to be a new nose cone. How can he continue to go? He's got Carlos Sainz. Seems to have survived somehow, but Daniel Ricciardo is out of the race, as is Kevin Magnussen in the Haas. Seems to be an error here with our graphic if you think he's 96 seconds. Just behind, he's not going anywhere. And Verstappen gets through the bus stop and just nurses the car back into the pits. Well, Max Verstappen so well, was challenging for the lead. I'm sure I saw him trying to overtake Verstappen. Just proud of his front wing potentially getting knocked off. It's what's made what's cost him essentially a chance in this Grand Prix. Known for being a driver here that will put caution to the winds, as Sergio Perez in the Racing Point, the Mexican driver, gets in front of the Dutch driver, and they're going to make their own rounds. The new designed pit straight, and the safety cars had to be brought out for that. Absolutely no surprise that the safety car was brought in. It's amazing that we only have 2 drivers at the moment that are out. Verstappen and Perez are both into the pit, so they will look to try and catch up the pack, and we will wait here, and we'll be hoping for a bit more racing to go soon. But Sebastian Vettel, you know, what a great weekend he has had thus far. There he goes. Now he is in control of this Grand Prix, so he will be in control of the situation. We will know from race control when it is time to go, because you will see the safety car dart in, and then Sebastian Vettel will probably have to hold them all the way through into Blanchimont, through the bus stop chicane, and then we will be racing again. We will know that moment. So just to round out the top 6 at the moment, Sebastian Vettel leads Lewis Hamilton, Valtteri Bottas is in 3rd, Charles Leclerc is 4th, Alex Albon is in 5th place, Esteban Ocon in the Renault is in 6th, Lance Stroll comes through into 7th, and Sebastian Grosjean in the Haas is 8th. Carlos Sainz is 9th, and McLaren ahead of Lando Norris that is 10th. Kimi Raikkonen in the Alfa Romeo was a very good performance by Raikkonen at the moment, up to 11. Daniel Kvyat is down in 12th. Nicholas Latifi in the Williams is in 13th, and Giovinazzi in the other Alfa Romeo is 14th. Pierre Gasly in the other AlphaTauri is 15th, and then Russell in the Williams is 16th. Perez is 17th, and Max Verstappen is 18th. The retirements in this Grand Prix: Kevin Magnussen in the Haas, and Daniel Ricciardo. What rotten luck Daniel Ricciardo has had thus far in this season. You really feel for him. Wonderful driver. Well, the way in which these cars are lapping today, I don't think we are going to see the lap record broken. It is Valtteri Bottas in third place that does have the lap record, taking it in the 2018 season. I would be impressed if any car here today can get below 2 minutes. The Spa-Francorchamps circuit as well is a circuit which has gone through many changes and seems to be redefined and rechanged, much different from its 1960s when it was the answer to the Nürburgring, a highly dangerous circuit that it was, boycotted in the end. And so Jackie Stewart's forced to make F1 safer, and we can see the results of today because there's been a huge accident. Magnussen and Ricciardo are all fine, no injuries, so that is a testament to how the sport has really changed itself over the course of time. I think one of the more terrifying incidents to think about in Formula 1 was from its inception in 1950 until late 1970s. There was a fatality every season, and thoughts go out to all those that have been affected by that, particularly the Jules Bianchi that was the last fatality, and we really do hope that is the last fatality in the sport. But there is the danger, and that is the whole point, is balancing the danger and the skill required to keep the car on the track. And that's what Lewis Hamilton has done so well this season, but he's met his match in the weather here with Sebastian Vettel. Safety car is still out. This is lap 4 of 11. As a result of this, I wouldn't expect any of the cars to pit today, mainly due to the fact that you've got wet weather tyres, so there is no need to pit. When you do have dry tyres, you are expected to change the compound in your tyres during the race. During the wet, you're not supposed to. It's not actually feasibly possible. And the safety car here has backed away, so I think we're going to go racing very shortly. The lights are off. Safety car here today, driven by the team principal of the Raven West team, Chris Whiteman. So he's bolting off, and now the safety car is essentially Sebastian Vettel, who will hold everybody up, and when he decides it's time for it, he will go. Blanchimont is through, so he'll make them through to the bus stop. I imagine he'll start slowing the cars down and down and down, and trying to catch them right through into the bus stop. And I can tell you, I've seen ahead, we've got green flags, and that's it. Sebastian Vettel has got it and has planted the right foot, and we're back racing here at Spa. And Vettel has got ahead, and the yellow flags are over, green flags are out, braking around the saw for the very first hairpin, and then they will go down to Eau Rouge. So, has Lewis Hamilton got enough from the restart? I don't believe so. I think Sebastian Vettel has just about timed this perfectly, and Vettel flies through Eau Rouge so well to keep the cars on the deck. Very, very difficult circuit. And this is Esteban Ocon. Oh, Esteban Ocon is slowing down. Passed by both of the McLarens. And Ocon from 6th place is out. A retirement for both Renaults. Esteban Ocon is out of the Belgium Grand Prix, and he was in the points. So Lance Stroll, the Canadian, that puts him into a points position if he can hold off Roman Grosjean in the Haas. But the Dutch producer is following Max Verstappen right now, and Max Verstappen has got Sergio Perez ahead of him. He's got a job and a half here. 17th and last on the grid at the moment. And can he make his way past Sergio Perez in the Racing Point? Will be the Aston Martin next year. Red Bull's relationship with Aston Martin will go? No. And I wonder if Max Verstappen thinking about, does he think a moment? So it's a wide corner as they make the way through pole on. Now he's going to make the opportunity, and he brakes inside. Very, very, very brave manoeuvre, passing 2 goes and 1 go. Past Perez, past Russell. Wow, and Perez is able to get past George Russell also. So brave, brave, brave driving, it has to be said, by Max Verstappen. And now ahead of him, he's got Gasly in the AlphaTauri, Nicholas Latifi in the Williams, and Giovinazzi and Raikkonen 12th and 11th at the moment. So they're having their best Grand Prix for a long time. Max Verstappen is absolutely flying, and he made that move through Blanchimont and breaking into the bus stop. Does he have enough to get past Latifi? You bet ya, he's got the stones to do it. And Gasly has also got past Latifi. So Gasly's up to 14th, Verstappen here is up to 13th, and then he has the 2 Alfa Romeos in his sights. Another AlphaTauri and then the 2 McLarens. Does he have an eye on the points? Over halfway distance in the Grand Prix of Belgium. Grand Prix which is very much gone through trials and tribulations, just as Silverstone has at the British Grand Prix, very much seen a staple in the F1 calendar. Personally, absolutely delighted to come here. They all know they're racing. There's such history when you do come to Spa and everything that goes on. So through the opening section of Ocon, and then through to turn 7, and down to the Revanche, which will be turn 8. Normally they'd be braking from about 280 kilometers an hour, but I don't think they'll get anything near that today. Probably up to about 180, 190 miles an hour potentially through the straights, but we'll wait and see how things are going. Max Verstappen is just starting to close a gap here on Giovinazzi. There will be... Oh, he's gone wide again. Struggled really in the approach in this Grand Prix. Every time that he's gone through sort of 12 and 13. Well, that's 11 and 12, I do beg your pardon. They will now head towards Stavlo. And does Verstappen have enough behind? It's a close gap to Giovinazzi. There is no... one thing to point out in the race, there will be no DRS. Normally there's 2 DRS zones at Spa during the pit straight through the bus stop and through the cobble straight. Won't be in this race. They'll need all the downforce possible. Valtteri Bottas, just to let you know, currently has the fastest lap of the race, and Max Verstappen is able to outbrake Giovinazzi and makes his way into 12th place in this race thus far. So Kimi Raikkonen, who he's got next before the bus stop was changed 2 years ago, it was Kimi Raikkonen that had the lap record. Don't know if Kimi Raikkonen thus far. Verstappen's gone fastest with a 2 minutes 07. That is the fastest time, I should say, we've had in the race, and that's an easy pass for Verstappen, who gets himself up to 10th. And now Lando Norris, the Englishman, is ahead of him to pass, but as I said once, I'll say it again, passing somebody is one thing, catching them is also another. Although I'm pretty sure it was the other way around. So Max Verstappen in 10th place. Just to remind you, the top 6, those in point scoring position of this race: Sebastian Vettel leads Hamilton and Bottas in 2nd and 3rd respectively. Charles Leclerc is in 4th, Alex Albon is in 5th, and Lance Stroll, the Canadian in the Racing Point, is in 6th. We're following Max Verstappen, who's done a wonderful job, it has to be said, working his way through the track thus far. He stands right behind Norris and Grosjean, so he's got his eyes here on the next position, and he's got himself past a lovely manoeuvre past Norris. So he's got Grosjean ahead, just about keeps it, and there they go again through Blanchimont, flying up again, and here we go. So that opening sort of turn 10 does seem to catch out Max Verstappen in this race thus far. One wonders if he can continue to go for it from here. He's got Grosjean to try and catch, which he's done successfully, and try and pass. And he's not had any problems. Very much heading up through Blanchimont, breaking into the bus stop's been a key area from here, but we're out accelerating them into the turn 1. That is Blanchimont. That is about as flat out as I think you can do. This is where Max Verstappen has loved overtaking people. He'll break deep into the corner. There'll be absolutely nothing Sebastian Grosjean could do. And Max Verstappen moves up into 8th place. And he's got Carlos Sainz and Lance Stroll ahead of him. So a wonderful bit of driving by Verstappen. Wonderful bit of driving, it has to be said here, by Sebastian Vettel, who is doing a very good job at the moment to hold off Lewis Hamilton. Lewis Hamilton, he's definitely at the moment, well, what does Lewis do in this situation? Does he try and go for the win again? Yeah, that's in Lewis's DNA. At the same time, a point could always be made in this race. Would Lewis Hamilton do better just stick behind? 6 points, maybe better than none. Sebastian Vettel is his nearest rival in the championship, and this was to finish as it was Lewis Hamilton would still have a comfortable advantage going to the final 4 races of the season. After this, we will go to Monza, and after Monza, we're off to Japan, Brazil, and we will finish the season as we did last year in Abu Dhabi. Verstappen, I can tell you, is despite it's the fastest lap, is losing time in 8th place, so he's got to be struggling. He must have got everything he can out of those wet weather tyres. You can see racing line definitely starting to dry out. I'm sure the drivers will be looking to try to stick to that. That is the danger you've got of overtaking in this. You will move from a drier part of the track into a wetter part of the track. You could lose time. Breaking through it become a real risk because suddenly you can lose traction very, very quickly. So I wonder if Lewis Hamilton may be thinking that he'll sit back. He might just relax and may just see this through. He's got to watch out for Bottas, which is right behind him. But they pulled away from Alex Albon in 5th place, and Lance Stroll is nowhere to be there. And we are following Sebastian Vettel. Sebastian Vettel, nice performance in this race thus far. This is lap 9 of 11, so 2 laps to go. And through Eau Rouge goes Vettel, followed by Hamilton again. Reminder of the retirements in this race. Esteban Ocon, Kevin Magnussen and Daniel Ricciardo all sadly retired, and we're watching a very, very, very good bit of driving as Vettel brakes from the Kimmel Straight into Lecombe. Normally 8th gear, just nudging 200 mile an hour. I don't think the tyres will allow us the downforce setting the cars to reach that level. We can still see the brakes here glowing bright red in Sebastian Vettel's car. How he could do with a win and a chance to climb up the championship standings this season. Been a real year in which Lewis Hamilton and that Mercedes is completely dominated. So Lewis Hamilton, he will know that his championship lead won't change if the result stays as this. But pole position, whether he can find the fastest lap, I don't know. It's the near perfect weekend from Sebastian Vettel, who will be leaving Ferrari at the end of this season. He will be moving off to Aston Martin, which is currently at the moment Racing Point. And we will be hoping to see more action next season. There's still a lot of talk that has to be said over the Mercedes team. Will they be continuing again in 2022? There's due to be new rule changes being brought in. It may not be the case, so if Mercedes have got the upper hand, I'm sure Lewis Hamilton will want Mercedes to stick around, because that would give him the opportunity, a very good opportunity, to overtake Michael Schumacher's 7 World Championships. Equal on that in point positions, and Hamilton at the moment with a wonderful performance in this Grand Prix thus far. Sebastian Vettel is through, and we're in lap 10 of 11. Vettel leads really quite comfortably. I don't think Hamilton's able to find anything more to catch, and indeed Sebastian Vettel is able to maintain a good gap, anywhere between half a second to a second. And we're watching Vettel here breaking from Lecombe. Lots of fans from Germany also at the Spa-Francorchamps circuit. Just a short journey, particularly those from the north of the country to come to. So I'm sure Sebastian Vettel, this will be a very popular decision. No German Grand Prix this year due to the restrictions brought in. A 10-race season, but talk of the World Championship season being expanded next year to include include more races, so one has to look out for that. That should be good fun. Should be a good, enjoyable moment for us here in the Grand Prix circuit. Vettel looking very comfortable. You can still see the rain. It's back down and falling again. You can see where it's landing on the track. And normally you have those moments in wet Grand Prix where it's all over the place and great fun. This race has to be said, since the restart, other than Max Verstappen, I think a lot of drivers have played it very, very carefully. Sebastian Vettel flies through Blanchimont, brakes heavily, goes into the bus stop, and he will therefore start his final lap. The final lap of the Belgium Grand Prix. Sebastian Vettel leading Lewis Hamilton, leads Valtteri Bottas. Charles Leclerc is in 4th, Alex Albon is 5th, and Lance Stroll is still 6th and has got nearly a 9-second advantage over Carlos Sainz in the McLaren. Verstappen has set the fastest lap of a 2:02, so that's some seriously quick pace. One wonders though, would he have enough to get past Sainz? We're going to follow Sebastian Vettel on his final lap. You've got to praise all the fans that have sat through some dreadful weather this weekend. Of course, not as bad as the weather and the start we had in the 1998 Grand Prix. That was one of the most appalling starts I can remember. There wasn't many drivers that finished that race. It was won by the last ever victory in Grand Prix racing by Damon Hill. It was Eddie Jordan's first win in the Jordan. This is his 7th year in the sport, finally getting a first win. Sebastian Vettel will be looking to get his season off the mark and get himself his first win. It's been the Lewis Hamilton show after Alex Albon took the opening win at Albert Park at the beginning of the season. And Verstappen could do after he was so close to Vettel as watch as Vettel has continued to move away, and he's just so careful, keeping acceleration on point, keeping the car nice and flat, and no spins allowed, and now they will pick up speed. It'll be a very good win. I don't think Hamilton's really been able to get any further than that. Through Blanchimont for the final time by Sebastian Vettel, braking here for the final time through the bus stop chicane, and Sebastian Vettel will come across the line to win the Belgium Grand Prix for Ferrari, followed by Hamilton in the Mercedes and Bottas. It's an absolutely brilliant win by Sebastian Vettel, who's done so well today. A perfect weekend for him. Pole position. He's led every lap of this Grand Prix. He's had Lewis Hamilton right behind him, but he's never looked worried. It's been an excellent performance by Sebastian Vettel, who is your deserved winner of the Grand Prix. Well, sheer delight for Mattia Binotto and the Ferrari team, winners at Spa, and that's a wonderful performance, it has to be said. So Sebastian Vettel held off Lewis Hamilton under real pressure, and in his final year with Ferrari, he's given his side a passing gift. If he can put together a run of form, is there the potential that Sebastian Vettel could provide Ferrari with a championship-winning season? You'll have to stay tuned. It's a wonderful reception that Vettel is getting, applauded by Hamilton and Bottas, and he receives the winner's trophy. Winners of the Belgium Grand Prix, Sebastian Vettel. Great performance, and the champagne is out all over the place at Spa. A brilliant, brilliant drive by Vettel. From start to finish, he was untouchable this afternoon. A real wet weather maestro. And confirmation of the full classified results of the Belgian Grand Prix. Sebastian Vettel wins from Hamilton and Bottas is third. Charles Leclerc gets fourth place. Albon is fifth, and Lance Stroll gets his first point of the season for the racing pole. Despite his heroics, Max Verstappen only finished eighth. Retirements for Esteban Ocon, Kevin Magnussen and Daniel Ricciardo. And this is what it does for the drivers' standings. Lewis Hamilton's lead is still up there with a 21-point lead, but Sebastian Vettel has cut it back. Valtteri Bottas has moved into third place, and Alex Albon has overtaken Max Verstappen. Charles Leclerc, despite his horrible run of retirements, is up in there. Lance Stroll gets his first point on the board and joins Daniel Ricciardo, both racing points and both Renaults with drivers' points. As fast as the Constructors' Championship is concerned, Mercedes are well out on top, but Ferrari do overtake Red Bull, Racing Point join Renault, and McLaren on 3 points apiece. For us, we're next back in the Italian Grand Prix in Monza, but from all of us, you take care and we'll see you very soon.